On July 4th, which is today, Americans celebrate Independence Day, the moment that they boldly declare their voice to the world. And in a funny way, learning to communicate clearly is like declaring your own independence. You know, independence from being misunderstood, independence from feeling stuck, independence from silence. Tying a bow tie. It takes precision. It takes practice. And it has certain steps that you have to follow. Well, so does communication. Because just like a good bow tie can pull your outfit together, good communication pulls your whole message together. So tonight, I'm sharing 5 skills that will free your message, boost your confidence, and help you connect like a leader. So are you ready to declare your independence from awkward English? Let's dive in. And don't forget to stick around, because in the Mastery Minute, I've got a power phrase that will help you shift from nervous to confident in seconds. Plus, I'll be answering questions live right after the show, as usual. So let me introduce you to Kenji. Kenji is a brilliant engineer, very strong English, but every presentation felt like a quiet fireworks show. Bright ideas that never fully exploded. Why is that? Well, it's because he rushed. He didn't pause. He spoke clearly, but never confirmed if people understood. One day, a colleague said, "Kenji, your report was great. I wish I knew what you wanted us to do." So, we worked together. He learned to pause, to frame his message with purpose, and to ask questions that invited others in. 3 months later, he wasn't just giving updates, he was actually leading conversations. Look, communication isn't about perfection. It's about making connections. So let's unpack the 5 essential skills that helped Kenji transform and can help you too. So, just to get off the bat, let's make it understood. Great communication is more than grammar or vocabulary. It's about using your voice to lead, inspire, and connect. So whether you're emailing, presenting, or just speaking up in meetings, here are 5 skills that you can take and use to make your English from functional to phenomenal. That's a good word, phenomenal. So let's start with skill number 1, clarity. Your message needs to be easy to understand, even if your listener is distracted or busy. So what does that mean? It means short sentences, simple structure, and one clear point at a time. In a busy work environment, people are juggling multiple tasks and distractions, so they appreciate when communication gets straight to the point. That's in spoken communications, it's in emails, it's in meetings, especially in meetings. You want to get straight to the point. You know, I'll give you a story. One of my clients, we'll call her Maria. She used to write long emails, complicated emails with lots of background information. She thought she was being thorough, but her manager often missed the point. So we rewrote, that's a hard one to say, we rewrote one of her emails, her typical emails, and we flipped it upside down. Instead of explaining first and then asking or adding or getting to the point second, we put her key point right at the top. And for example, I think it's instead of Due to unforeseen circumstances, the deliverables will be delayed. This is a very complicated sentence, and it doesn't really say very much. So instead I said, well, why don't you say, we need more time, so the report will be ready on Thursday. It's straight to the point. The deliverable will be delayed. What's the deliverable? What's the delay? So be very clear, straight and to the point. So that shift made her emails clearer and more effective. People responded faster and they appreciated her directness. So here's a tip. Try using no more than one idea per sentence. Break long explanations into bite-sized thoughts. Think of your message like a headline. If someone only hears the first sentence, would they get your point? So I just want to be clear before we move on. Clarity doesn't mean dumbing things down. You're not making your English not sound intelligent. You're actually sharpening your message. And clear English, that's confident English. You won't be questioning, did they get it? So let's give you some structure. Imagine trying to build a house with no blueprint, right? No design. You're just banging things together. Well, that's what communication without structure looks like. Even if you have all the right materials, ideas and data and vocabulary, but if they're not arranged in a way that makes sense, your message will fall apart. So let's use a basic framework. What's the point? Why does it matter? And what do you need from the listener? So we'll try the point, reason, request method. Point, our numbers dropped this quarter. Reason, it's because of slower summer sales. Request, let's adjust our July targets. Simple, right? Point, reason, request. One of my clients, Thomas, once gave a presentation packed with great information, but no one knew what he was recommending. So we restructured his slide deck and built each section around those 3 questions. So the next time he presented, his team had a clear understanding and a clear takeaway and immediately had action steps to take action. Structure is like the roadmap, or I guess nowadays you call it the GPS navigation, that guides your listener through your message. Without it, even the best ideas get lost. So use that structure. Point, reason, request. Number 3, skill number 3. This is a good one and one that many people overlook. Listening. Strong communicators aren't just good speakers. They're amazing listeners. Listening actually helps you build trust. It shows respect. It gives you valuable information about what your audience actually cares about. So when you're listening, you don't want to just wait for your turn to talk, but actually show that you're listening. How can I do that? Well, I can nod. Nod thoughtfully. Say something like, oh, that makes sense, or tell me more. And then ask follow-up questions. I once worked with a sales manager, we'll call her Gina, who struggled with connection with her clients. Not a good thing if you're a sales manager. She used to prepare these long pitches and talk straight through the meetings. That's all she did, just talk. Once she started pausing and asking questions like, how does this solution sound to you? Or can you tell me more about that issue? Everything changed. Her clients opened up and her sales doubled. Listening can be a superpower. And it isn't passive. It's not something that you just do. It's an active thing. I think I'll do a video about active listening. It's engaged. It's powerful. The more you listen, the more your words will also matter. All right, the skill number 4, pausing. Think of your words your voice like fireworks. Without a pause between the explosions, it's just a lot of noise. A pause gives your message weight. So try this before, let's try this. Before an important point, pause. Or after a key phrase, pause. That's it. One of my favorite examples comes from a client named Marco. He was nervous about presenting in English, so he talked really, really fast. But when he practiced adding pauses, suddenly his ideas had room to breathe, and his teammates started saying, "Wow, you sounded so confident." A pause does two things. It gives your audience time to absorb what you said, and it gives you time to think. It makes you sound more deliberate, more powerful, and more professional. So don't rush. A well-timed pause is the punctuation mark that gives your message power. And our last skill is questions, and I love questions. Anyone who's worked with me knows that I love questions. Questions. Don't just deliver. Don't just give your pitch. Invite. Questions will turn a monologue into a conversation. They show respect, create engagement, and help you understand the people you're speaking to. Okay? So seek validation. Say, does that sound right to you? Ask, what would you change if you're looking for improvement? Or how can we make this better? If you're trying to enhance something, how can we make it better? So I'll tell you real quick about Daria, a team lead that I coached in Taiwan. She used to wrap up meetings by saying, "Any questions?" And no one ever responded. Have you had that experience before? She might have just thought that nobody had questions because they understood what she was saying. Well, I taught her to swap that for, what concerns do you have about this plan? See how it's open-ended? What do you think is missing? Another open-ended question. Or sometimes just like, hey, I covered a lot of information here. What questions can I answer for you? And suddenly, after she started making those changes, people started speaking up because, hey, now they're feeling included. And she started to discover issues with her points much earlier, even before they became problems, which is always the best time to discover them. Questions create connection, and that's the secret ingredient in every great conversation. So let's recap it real quick. So remember, keep it clear. Keep it clear. That's your clarity. Add some structure. Listen, and really listen. Remember to pause with purpose. Pause before, pause after those key points. And when you combine these 3 things or 5 things, asking meaningful questions, you'll become a communicator that people trust and want to follow. So here's your challenge for this week. Choose one of today's 5 skills and focus on it in your next meeting or conversation. Just one. Then you can add more later on. Maybe you pause more. Maybe you ask one great question. And then notice what happens. And come back and drop that in the comments on this video on the replay. And if you're ready to go deeper, don't miss my flagship course, Mastering English for Busy Professionals. It's designed to help busy professionals like you improve their English without textbooks or long classes, just a simple 10-minute-a-day study habit that fits into even the most hectic schedule. You'll find the link in the description or in the chat or at allaboutenglishmastery.com. And because it's the 4th of July, I'm giving you 50% off until July 14th with the code FOUNDER. FOUNDER. Okay, let's get ready for the Mastery Minute. And today's phrase is one that reflects the spirit of July 4th, at least in America. Speak your mind. So, speak your mind. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being honest, expressing your thoughts clearly and respectfully, even when others might disagree. Back in 1776, the American colonies didn't hold back. They spoke their mind to the most powerful empire in the world. Not with violence at first, but with a declaration, with words. Words that said, here's what we believe, here's what we stand for. You should go check it out. The Declaration of Independence is amazing. So in modern English, speak your mind means saying what you truly think or feel, especially when it matters. For example, on the slide there, you see, during the team meeting, Anna spoke her mind about the unrealistic deadline. And it started a much-needed discussion. See, she spoke her mind. She shared what she was thinking. When you speak your mind with clarity and courage, you gain respect, and sometimes you spark real change. And after all, isn't that what Independence Day is all about? It is where I come from. Speak your mind. All right, thanks for joining me tonight on this special Independence Day episode. If you learned something new, be sure to give this a like, subscribe, share it with a friend who's also trying to improve their English. And next week on Monday, we are going to dive into the American English accent. That's like me, American. We're going to talk about what makes it unique, why it sounds the way it does, and how you can start using it to sound more natural and confident. We'll explore rhythm and pitch and those subtle shifts that give American English its signature sound. You don't want to miss this one. And until then, be sure to keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep finding your voice. See you on Monday.